Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44. So I'm going to try to tackle a very, very serious topic on the fly. I am not super educated, nor do I find myself able to relate in any way to the topic at hand. But it's something that I think I may have found some middle ground for. It just hit me like right now as I was reading something. So there was a post that I saw on Facebook as usual of I think it was a some sort of weightlifting champion and this individual was performing in the female ranks, won the competition, but unfortunately, they were not born a female, and because of it, they're getting a lot of backlash for being able to win a strength competition. Now, my opinion on this has always been there's a physicality imbalance that we do not tend to give enough credence to when we're considering whether or not we feel this is fair, this is just, this is the way to go. And I think when you have situations where people have been told they can't do something, when they finally get an opportunity to do something, they kind of bull through, pushing through certain aspects of whether or not they should do it or whether or not they are being fair to others when receiving what it is that they feel they should receive because they've been pushed aside. It's almost as if, well, I don't care if other people are being treated unfairly when I'm finally getting what I'm supposed to get. You understand what I'm saying? So I get the mentality as an African American. I definitely get the mentality, but I do understand how problematic that can be and how others have to react to that anyway. Now, I've seen with my own eyes and have paid attention to and listened to naturally born females who compete, who agree that individuals who were born as male, who now identify as female, should be able to compete with them. They have no problem with people competing with them, regardless of how they identify, and do not feel that it is unfair for them to compete with born males. They would like to compete with them. They want to see them happy and succeed and have an opportunity, and they don't feel themselves as weak or too weak to face off against these individuals, these athletes. My thing is, that's stand up. That's honorable. That's something I can get behind because you're essentially saying I don't care what it looks like. I'm ready to go to battle with anybody, and that's what athletics is about first and foremost. Then it's about being unselfish and believing in the ability of allowing others to compete with you and believing in the ability to say, you know what, just because a person was born a certain way doesn't mean they have to live a certain way. They don't have to identify a certain way. So all of that stuff is admirable. Even though a lot of us haven't reached that space of mind, I can see where it's okay to come to that conclusion. I can see where that's progressive and helpful and good energy for some people to hold on to when they feel like giving up. So I get it. I get it more than most. However, there is a physical aspect about sports that cannot be denied. There's a physical aspects for a lot. Not all, because I've met and seen women who are stronger than myself. When I've met and seen men who are much weaker than some of the women that I've seen and have known in life. So it's not across the board, but in the athletics, specifically in sports, you will find strong men, men who are born men, just simply stronger than women. We understand that, even across uh, in animals and in different species, the male species is often found to be the dominant species physically. We're not talking about mentally, we're not talking about strategically, or none of those things. We are talking about the physical nature of a man's body and the ability to put on muscle and take off fat. It is a known fact that men just simply are more so built for that type of thing. Okay? And we all have to come to some type of conclusion of our own. But mine is, in general, a natural born man is going to be stronger than a natural born woman in general. And so, with that understanding comes some type of need for a balance in order for competition, in my eyes, to be considered fair. And in considering fair, you're not just considering strategy, you're not just considering, you know, the process of playing the sport or competing, but you're also thinking about what a person can bring to the table with their body. And a woman going up against a full blown athletic man is going to be at a disadvantage 9 out of 10 times, maybe even a higher ratio than that. So, my solution is to allow the other contestants the naturally born female contestants to use performance enhancing drugs to balance out the difference. That is the solution that we need to come to. Now, obviously, performance enhancing drugs and measuring the strength versus other contestants, that's a science that needs to improve dramatically in order for this to become effective as I see it in my mind's eye. But that is the goal that I think sports should be reaching, trying to get it so that performance enhancing drugs are so precise and the ability to weigh the strengths of each and every body is so accurate that you can put yourself in a position to balance it out when you have these types of competitions where both naturally born men and naturally born women are competing with one another in physical sports. It's necessary. If we're going to allow, and when I say allow, and I say that word understanding the way that it sounds, but if we're going to allow this, then there has to be some acknowledgement of the imbalance here. Because what you're going to end up having is individuals who were born male holding all the records in women's sports and not allowing natural born women an opportunity to dominate in their own sports because of it, you know? And you don't want to ostracize, you don't want to go backwards in progression. So the solution is to find a way to make it so that the two bodies can match with one another. That's what needs to happen. And until we find a way to do that, I do believe that naturally born women will find themselves at a disadvantage in a lot of strength-based competitions. And that is not a good thing. I don't care how you slice it. That's not a good thing. Just because someone else, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, just because someone has been pushed aside and is finally getting what they deserve, does not mean that we should be pushing aside someone else, keeping them away from what it is that they deserve to give that person what they deserve. We have to seek balance. We have to seek balance. If we're being fair, if we're not going to continue to find conflict in these various topics that we have as people, we have got to start seeking balance in the solutions to some of these issues. We can't just seek retribution for some and not give credence to who's being pushed aside in the process. Or we'll always find ourselves behind the eight ball trying to fix wrongs that we allowed in our thinking. That's what I'm trying to address here as a person. You know? So I hope everybody understood where I was coming from. Again, I don't have a problem with you identifying as whoever you are. I reserve the right to identify as who I am. You know what I mean? Regardless of what the person to the left of me, to the right of me thinks. So I can respect the fact that someone wouldn't care what I think of them. And like I said, I want to double down on this. I do understand that not every woman, naturally born woman in competition, feels that they are at a disadvantage, competing with people who were born men who now identify as women. You know, not everybody feels that way. Some may, but I've actually heard more women who support those women as well. Do you understand what I'm trying to convey? So thank you guys for watching. You know what I mean? I think in a perfect world, we'd have a cut and dry, simple way to fix all of this. It doesn't look like there's a solution on the way for this type of thing. I think people's blood is boiling for a lot of this stuff for a bunch of reasons. I'm just looking for solutions. I'm looking for ways to not put out bad energy while coming to solutions for things that matter. And I think that performance enhancing drugs is what looks normal to me. It looks normal. It looks like that's where it's headed. It's like, yo, okay, we know that person was born a guy. We know they're gonna run faster, stronger than all of the naturally born women they're going up against. We know that. We can pretend like we don't see the evidence because we're trying to awaken to a new way of thinking, but the evidence will continue to bleed through because some things cannot be swayed by how we feel or what we agree to or our societal norms. Some things just are. And men's strength, natural born man's strength, that's not something that we can deny. That's not something we have the opportunity to ignore, because it's going to continue to prove in the numbers. It's going to continue to prove in the competition. We will see more and more of this, and then we'll have an uprising of people who are upset about it because they feel like there's an unfairness for the natural born women, and I see that coming. So, performance enhancing drugs. Measure those men, measure those ladies, figure out who's strong, who has what in their bodies, and then try to put the medicine in them that'll make them stronger. We already have the technology, we just need to perfect it. That's the solution. My name is BDF44, and I'm out.